Alright everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me touching on the top prop bets for this Taco Tuesday, which as you guys know is profit day. And this could be a really awesome day because looking at their promo page for the Picks Must, they're calling it Missile Tacos. Anyways, they're going to say that we have all day discounts pretty much. So I'm very curious as to how many we get today. To me, it's the sixth day. I'm kind of expecting at least 6 tacos today. We'll see. Typically we only get 3, so kind of fun. Hopefully we get a lot of discounted squares today. Now guys, I do just want to start out with just a painful slip yesterday. I kind of mentioned Kobe White and Colin Sexton that once their prop bets were kind of made available, especially for fantasy score, I thought that would be a good line to go with. This was the free entry that I had yesterday, and 3 of the better prop bets, and I like the fact that they correlated, were the Houston prop bets, and then this one. It wasn't a bad beat, don't get me wrong, but it definitely stings that the only close prop bet on the day, the only one that was a slight sweat, did not get there. That was a little bit painful. But with that, let's go on and get into today, guys. So we have a 4-game slate for NBA, so I'll be breaking that down, but I'll also be covering, the other prop bets that we have available across the various sports. But starting with the first game, we got the Grizzlies versus the Pelicans, an 8-point spread there. The interesting thing of note for this game is that Ja Morant is going to be back for the Grizzlies. Now, the biggest piece of news that we need, though, as well in this game is minutes on Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart. Are they going to be active? Because if they are out, I think we can kind of expect Ja Morant to get a lot of minutes. Looking at the Pelicans, they're going to be good to go. Now, when we look at Memphis, guys, we are only getting 1 prop bet for Memphis right now, and that's going to be Ja Morant. Now, I do like his overs today, and partially because I think he is going to get minutes. Like, the thing with him sitting out at the start of the season, and we don't have any projection for him just yet, but the thing with him starting out the season suspended, it wasn't an injury. So, like, he should be good to go. His conditioning, you would think he's been properly conditioned to play a full allotment of minutes, and with those guards being banged up, his Smart sits, and if Luke Kennard sits, he might be thrust into 30 plus minutes. And if he does get 30 plus minutes, this would be a massive edge. And guys, I did kind of a how-to video on DraftKings Pick 6 contest that they have on the channel yesterday, and I think it could be a fun thing. But someone like Ja Morant today, I feel like that's a good example of how we could potentially gain an edge, where if we get news that he's going to play 36 plus minutes in this game, or if his minutes are going to be vastly limited, their lines don't change. And so the lines that we're getting on Ja Morant, they could change vastly, where this either goes up or down based off of the news that we get today. And that's where we could potentially gain an edge on, DraftKings picks. But they have limited states, so I won't be touching on that too much. I just wanted to bring that up as an okay point. But yeah, we go ahead and get into the Pelicans. We're going to get a little bit more props for them because they are healthy. We kind of know that when they are all healthy, that it is kind of tough to get to really any of them as prop bets. The only really good one that we have right now is going to be J-Val for over a 3 to make a 3-ball. And I do find that one to be kind of a fun one. J-Val has been kind of reliable. Now, this matchup with Memphis, maybe not the best, but if Bismack Biyombo's out, I don't think we're worried defensively. Like, he should be able to feast like he has been. We look at his game log, he has been shooting 3s lately for the last 2 games. And if that continues, if he gets 4 3-balls up, yeah, he's going to get this over most likely. And so I'm kind of looking at it through the matchups. And if you look at it, it does seem to be teams that have a good defensive big, he's kind of not shot 3-balls, and teams that don't have a good defensive big, he has. So I don't know, there could be something there. All in all, that's the best EV bet that we are currently getting. If we get a taco this morning and this one's still available, I'm fine with taking that EV bet. But from there, we're really not getting that many good props. Again, with everyone healthy, we're not really gaining an edge. And like using like Kobe White and Colin Sexton as an example, the reason why I like those is because the market hadn't adjusted to their situation. And we're not getting that for the Pelicans where, someone's out, so another play becomes elevated. Now, in this next game, we are going to get that. For the Spurs, it is this just went up, a 16.5-point spread now. It's about 250 for the over and under, so a very high-scoring game. Looking at the Bucks injury report, Malik Beasley, game-time decision with the illness. He has sat out the last 2 games. He should be good to go in this game, I would imagine. Jay Crowder still out. And then looking at the Spurs, guys, they're going to be without 2 of their bigs, and that is kind of a thing to note. Like Charles Bassey being out as well, that's big because Wemby is out as well. So they're going to be without 2 of their bigs. And Wemby's obviously the big piece of news there. And so I'm hoping that we're going to get some good Spurs props today. We'll go ahead and take a peek at it. We are seeing Zach Collins for under 3.5 assists. And to me, that's kind of a strange one, guys. To me, I think I would have wanted to bet the over there. So let's just take a peek at this, because if we look at his projected minutes on the day, he is projected to get 30 plus minutes. And I'm looking at his per 36 production with Wemby off the court. He gets the second most minutes. Keldon Johnson gets the most, actually makes sense. But he averages 4.8 assists per 36. Now, he's not projected to get 36 minutes, but I will say if this game stays close, to me, I kind of imagine him getting a lot of minutes in this game. Now we can see they have been limiting his minutes recently, and that is a concern. But all in all, when he is on the court, he does give us a great chance to get over the assist here. But I get why, his minutes have been lower. They probably don't want him to get minutes too much, especially with him having knee soreness and whatnot. Last year, that's something that happened with the Spurs where no one got over 30 minutes on average. So a little bit risky. Again, this is not going to be a good prize picks bet. I think that's a better sportsbook bet. We are seeing Malachi Branham for over 11.5 points is a decent one. The average sportsbook line is kind of favoring a push, but at 12 points there, he is someone that doesn't really get a significant minutes bump. But in terms of like usage, guys, the players that get the biggest bump in usage that are going to see minutes, it's basically everyone, to be honest with you. Devin Vassell does get a lot of minutes, or a big bump in usage. Zach Collins gets a big bump, 4% for him. And then Branham as well. He gets about a 4% bump. Now, he has been seeing minutes consistently, and I think that's the one thing we can bank on is that he should get a decent amount of minutes in this game. Like the usage that Wemby have is definitely going to get spread out. And so if we look at Branham, he has a 20% usage rate, averages 14.9 points per 36. Again, can we trust him get 36 minutes? Probably not. But we can see he is someone that typically does average a lot of minutes. And even if this game blows out, I feel like he still should be in line to get some run. From there, I would imagine that Keldon Johnson is going to get minutes regardless. Like even in that game against the Pelicans, guys, that game was a blowout. The game against the Lakers, that game was a blowout. He has been getting minutes, 30 plus minutes in all those games. And so if the game stays close, he probably will get over 36 or close to 36 minutes. His per 36 production with Wemby off the court is pretty great. It's a 24% usage rate, averages about 20 points per 36, 6.6 rebounds, 4.5 assists. So all in all, he's someone that personally I want to bet on today. And so let's see which prop bets we are getting on him today. None of them are actually good prize picks bets. This probably feels a little bit too thin for me. The points, rebounds, and assists. The points I'd be fine with, especially on underdog there, guys. I'm not really going to touch on underdog too much in this video, but to me, that's a good edge that we are getting. 18.5 points. He should be able to get that over. Again, averages about 20 per 36 with Wemby off the court. After that, they are actually giving some good lines here. So it's going to be tough to get to the Spurs, I guess, which I don't like. Like, with Wemby out, that's a high usage rate player off the court. I kind of get, though, the lines because with Wemby off the court, it makes sense why we wouldn't be getting the best line, especially in a game that's a blowout. Now, looking at the Bucks, I do think I like Chris Middleton's points, rebounds, and assists. And I kind of want to start with that. We'll get into Brook here in a second. My worry with Chris is that this game could blow up pretty fast, right? And then Chris would be the first one who they have been limiting his minutes already this season. He'd be the first one in which they would be ready to just take him out and not give him a run in this game. Now, he has been getting about 30 plus minutes in every single game. And if you look at his game log, he has consistently gotten that over. And so in this game where it's a high scoring game, yes, it could be a blowout. I do expect him to be able to get this over like more times than not. As you guys can see, he's going to get that over. And if you look at the Bucks, like they have been blowing out teams regardless. So like I think we're okay with that for Chris Middleton. And if they are blowing out team, he's going to be part of the reason as to why. But again, the small wrinkle with that is the fact that Beasley is going to be back. Beasley's been someone that does soak up a lot of minutes. And if he's not, again, he's probable. I'm expecting him to play as well. But if he's not, that only would help out Middleton's line. Now, I will say this matchup with the Spurs is highly intriguing. Like, think about it. With Wemby off the court, like their rim protection definitely goes down. And so looking at Brook Lopez for over points, I do think could be a good one for us. But also at the same time, points, rebounds, and assists is one that I like. I don't like the fact that the Daya doesn't like it. And then the Giannis FU tour, it's really in full effect right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a triple-double tonight in this matchup because this game should be kind of like the Pacers where he just has his way with the defense. Like he should be able to dominate. The worry is that this game blows out, obviously, and maybe it's more Damian Lillard or someone that's, kind of having the really hot game. But all in all, I do think I guess if you wanted to bet all the overs for the Bucks, points, rebounds, and assists tonight, you should be able to get at least 3 out of the 4. But yeah, I think Brook Lopez over points, rebounds, and assists is one that I like as well. Again, the Spurs, they're going to struggle defensively in this. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. We got Portland versus the Suns. 7-point spread, 231. For the over and under. Looking at the injury report, Sharp is a game time decision. That is a big piece of news. We have seen like someone like Malcolm Brogdon really benefit with Sharp off the court. He'd be someone I think we could project to get a lot more minutes in that game. Interested there. Worth noting as well, DeAndre Ayton revenge game-ish. Now, I personally like it. Revenge game narratives when like Aiden went back to Phoenix and he really played well in this one. The fact that this is a home game for Portland and the fact that Aiden already played the Suns, probably going to be less of an emphasis for him to play well. I still think he's going to be motivated, don't get me wrong. Looking at the Suns, it is kind of a big news item if Grayson Allen sits, because then Eric Gordon should get a lot of run in this game because Josh Okogie is going to be out. And then you also have Bradley Beal out as well. So yeah, that would lead to a lot of minutes for Eric Gordon. Now, yes, Booker's back, KD's back. They should be able to feast in this matchup. And for what it's worth, Yusuf Nurk should be able to feast in this matchup as well. Now, let's go ahead and take a peek at the props that we're getting. We'll start out with Phoenix. So yeah, Yusuf Nurk over turnovers is definitely interesting. I don't know. I personally don't love touching turnover props, but let's take a peek at it for Yusuf Nurk. He is someone that does average around 1.5 turnovers per game. So all in all, I'm kind of okay with that one. The minutes have been there for him. And so honestly, I thought I'd be looking at maybe like points, rebounds, and assists for his over. That's interesting there. Grayson Allen is currently in the projections here, so they're kind of expecting him to play. So do with that what you will. We are seeing all the lines that we're getting right now are all probably correct, I will say, at least for the Suns, based off of my expectations. I do want to touch on this one for Yusuf Nurk because, again, I think he's going to have a good game. And if you just want to bet the over rebounds, he has been crushing in that department lately. I do want to call it the last matchup with Portland, though he did feast in that matchup as well. So I do expect that to continue again. And that's actually funny. They're not giving us rebound props just yet. You could do rebounds and assists, but I think I would just purely want to do rebounds there if we get it. So definitely interesting that they're not giving us that. And with Bradley Beal off the court, obviously Booker and KD, they're going to get a lot of shot time stuff. To me, it's still a little bit too thin based off the lines that we're getting. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the other side of the game. Portland has been kind of nice, guys. I've mentioned the strategy with Washington a decent amount, as well as with Portland. Given their game lines, with them being so like high in terms of their spread, like they are typically expected to lose by 7+ points, or that's what we have tonight. But if they keep the game close enough for long enough, typically their prop bets are not being properly valued. At the same time, if they get blown out right away, then their lines are not being properly valued. It's very tough for the sportsbooks to give a great line on these players because of that. So looking at right now, we are not getting any Sharp prop. And I think that's kind of an indication that they don't expect Sharp to play. And so if he does sit, what can we expect? Well, I think first and foremost, Jeremy Grant is someone that I do think I would be interested in. With Sharp off the court, he is someone that already shoots the basketball a lot. And it's not like I'm expecting him to have like a bigger game because Sharp's off the court, but I do expect him to just be a lot more consistent as a fantasy producer. Like, we're not going to see the ups and downs that we have seen because obviously you're taking out one of their better players. I think that's just going to mean that the shot attempts will be there for Jeremy Grant regardless of if he's cold or not. Like, he's going to have to step up and have a good game. And so if this game does stay close, I think it'll be partially due to Jeremy Grant, like it was in the last game. Jeremy Grant had a good game in the last game against the Suns. And so this line that we're getting at 29.5, I think I'm fine betting the over with him. It is a little bit too thin, like mostly just the game stack there. Again, a better bet on FanDuel or DraftKings. We can see the average sportsbook line is favoring this as a push, but at 29.7. So there's probably one sportsbook out there that's running it out as 30, but favoring the under there. So all in all, I do think we're getting a decent line there for Jeremy Grant. The one I want to touch on the most is actually going to be Simons because he has been feasting. And we can see the mints have been pretty heavy there for Simons. We love that part. And so if he continues to get that amount of run, and if we're betting on this game staying close, I do think I prefer the over here. Now, we don't have a big sample size with Sharp and Simons off the court, and so it's really not worth mentioning, to be honest with you guys. The production basically stays the same in the small sample size that we have. So again, if the game stays close, we're expecting Sharp, or we're expecting Simons, we're expecting Grant to be the reason as to why. Again, though, that's why I don't mind betting it both ways, where let's say they do have a bad game, then all their unders are going to hit. And again, I do think Malcolm Brogdon has a good chance to get more run in this game. He is someone that really does go off when he gets the minutes. Now, if he gets 30+ minutes, I do expect him to have a good game. His per 36 production with Sharp off the court, guys, is 25.3 points, 4.4 rebounds, 5.8 assists, usage rate of 26%, which is second behind Simons. So it's pretty crazy. And we can see the minutes have been limited for him because they've been healthy. And also Scoot Henderson's been back as well. Scoot's been playing much better recently as well. They don't want Malcolm Brogdon to be the guy. It's pretty clear. And so maybe we're looking at Scoot Henderson instead of Malcolm Brogdon. Again, probably a little bit safer, honestly. If Brogdon's in the starting lineup, we can assume he's going to get the minutes. If Scoot Henderson's in the starting lineup, we can assume. I don't want to say that he's going to get the minutes for sure. He's one that it kind of goes the other way. If the game is, I don't know, it's tough to say. With Sharp out, it's tough to say, I guess. I'll give you guys the data. Per 36, Scoot averages 15.8 points. So we can see that is a bump in his points per game. And you got to remember, at the start of the season, he was getting a decent amount of run. but we can see lately his minutes have been capped. So the per 36 minutes, I guess it's just not worthwhile with Scoot tonight. Probably, honestly. Yeah, I don't see it. So yeah, either you're betting Simons and Grant over or you're betting them under. Like I do think pairing those up together does make a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and get into the next game here. And for the next game, we got the Celtics versus the Warriors, probably the best game I would say. But Boston is difficult to figure out. Looking at the Warriors, 5-point spread, 232.7 is going to be the over and under for this game. We know that Draymond Green's still out, but we have Chris Paul as a game time decision. And if he sits, Gary Payton being out as well would mean that we're going to see more pods in there. So it's definitely interesting there. And then looking at Boston, Porzingis currently a game time decision. Now, when we look at the injury report for them, Porzingis is projected to play, whereas Chris Paul is most likely going to sit, is what we're seeing there. And so if Pods is starting again, that's kind of fun to me. He's just been a fun player that's been getting minutes. Klay Thompson has finally been playing better. So we'll see which kind of prop bets we are getting for Golden State. Okay, so we got Pods. We got one of Pods. We got Klay turnovers. That's interesting. Not getting too many props though for this team just yet. Curry for 28.5 points. Let's honestly just take a peek at kind of all those. So this is one I think if Chris Paul plays, you're kind of, I don't want to say you're screwed, but the likelihood of it hitting is going to be a lot lower. We can see the shot attempts have been there for him for the most part. I mean, over 10 shot attempts in basically every game recently, except for that game against Portland. A little bit shocking there. Had 10 points in that game, 2 free throws. I don't know if he just, wasn't shooting the basketball well or whatnot. I will say Klay was shooting the basketball well, so maybe that was just him deferring to Klay a little bit more in that game. And what was interesting in that last game is that actually Curry had himself a terrible game as well. So I don't know, maybe there's something there. Tough to say for sure, but it was definitely interesting. I do want to point out that Curry coming in off of that terrible game shooting the basketball, I typically like to go back to a player after that poor night shooting because we know Curry's an all-time shooter. That was just an outlier game, right? And so it wouldn't be shocking to see that outlier game happen the other way where, we see that positive regression. So he is someone I do think points wise, we could be betting the over. And given the fact that the game is projected to stay close, I like that. Looking at Klay, guys, he has been playing better. The minutes have been there for him a little bit more. It's tough to trust, but you could bet the over points. Like he is shooting the basketball a ton. 16 shot attempts, 19, 15. And the thing with it is it's the 3 balls. Over 9 3-ball attempts in all those games. Again, if he goes 4 for 9, that's really all we need for him to have a really good game in terms of shooting. And then taking a peek at Boston, we're not really getting that many good bets. Still, it's a 4-game slate. We probably won't get that many bets. Like Drew Holiday over 5.5 assists, I do like. Yeah, if Curry's going to have a terrible night shooting again, which it could happen against Boston, don't get me wrong. Like they are a good defense. Drew Holiday, though, getting over 5.5 rebounds would be more likely there, I would say. And given the fact that this game is projected to stay close, I do like that. Like he's just going to be on the court a little bit more. We did see Tatum, I believe, for over rebounds and assists as a decent one. 13.5. That's probably a little bit too thin, but he is someone in games that stay close. He's getting heavy minutes, 39 minutes, 40 minutes. Like that does increase his likelihood of the rebounds and assist prop hitting the over. And I know we're expecting Porzingis to play, but if he were to sit, that would just kind of shift the usage to all the other players a little bit more. All in all, though, we're not getting that many great prop bets for Boston. Now, guys, I know this is typically just an NBA video. I do want to shift into college basketball because we are getting 4 pretty good props, and 3 of them are fantasy score prop bets, which means that they're probably going to be there throughout the day, which hopefully that'll mean a good thing there. I have noticed with college basketball, it seems to be very hit or miss. Like either all of them are hitting or all of them are missing. Personally, I would rather have that. I think most of you guys would as well. But let's take a peek at these. So taking a look at the first one, it's going to be David Jones for under his fantasy score. And I think a lot of that is just simply predicated on the matchup that he has going against a difficult matchup in Virginia. Looking at the game total, guys, this is one of the lower game totals that we have on the slate, 131.6. So it does make sense. Now we look at Dave Jones' game log. He has been someone that has really been playing pretty well. Now both teams have been playing well. But all in all, I kind of get why they're favoring the under there. I would assume that in this matchup against Virginia, they're not expecting him to get a lot of blocks and steals. And so his under hitting is one that makes sense. Again, with the game total as well, it does make sense why they'd be favoring the under. And for what it's worth, guys, when we look at his points, rebounds, and assists, like that is a good sign that they're really heavily favoring the blocks, the blocks and steals there to be 10 plus. Just want to call that out. Now, the next one that we have is going to be Tyler Kolek for over fantasy score. And if we look at this game, Marquette versus Providence, 4.5 point spread, 145.6 for the over and under. So not a terrible game in terms of the over and under. I wouldn't say like it's a game that we are going out of our way to really target, but taking a peek at Tyler Kolek as a player, guys, he is someone that does get a lot of assists. The minutes can be pretty heavy for him as well, as long as he doesn't get into foul trouble and whatnot. But we can see 10 assists, 7 assists, 6 assists, 6 assists. That is something that is awesome. That is something that's going to help him be able to hit this over. And I also want to point out that he is typically someone that does get multiple steals in a game. And that's really what we're banking on with that fantasy score prop today, is Tyler Kolek to get multiple steals. We can see, looking at his game log, he's been very close to that over a bunch of times. The game log here, probably not the best indication of his ability to get the over. You know, against Notre Dame, they blew him out. He only played 27 minutes. Against Wisconsin, they didn't show up. Wisconsin's kind of a different type team. We kind of know that. This game as well, blowout there, 20 minutes. This game is projected to stay close. So if we look at kind of the games in which they have stayed close, he's gotten the over 2 out of 3 times. So all in all, assists should be there, minutes should be there. We need like 2 steals for this, and we need the points to be there. And we can't have the steals not outweigh the turnovers. That'd be kind of costly. Let's look at the next prop bet that we have. It's going to be Telford for over his fantasy score. Again, like the fact that the projection data would have it as the exact same line as the PrizePicks line. And then I like the fact that the average sportsbook line is favoring the over here. So that is maybe a little bit better than Tyler Kolek. Now, it's kind of going to be the same situation with Tyler Kolek in the last one. Like, the minutes are pretty heavy regardless. Now, this last game that he played in, Telford, they absolutely blew out the team. He only played 20 minutes in that game. We can see all these other games, they had kind of been blowouts. He still got the minutes there. So all in all, the lines that we're getting on this one should be pretty good. Now, the game against Butler, they are projected to win by 10.5 points. So there is slight blowout risk. But again, we're probably not too worried about the minutes not being there for him. And so, yes, like Tyler Kolek, as long as those minutes are there for the most part, we can see he's gotten the over in 3 straight games in which those minutes were heavily there. So I feel pretty good about that prop. And then the last one we got is Sebastian Mack for over his points at 13, kind of being favored as a push. But again, let's go and take a peek at this one. UCLA is heavily favored to win, guys, by 17.5 points. That is a concern against Cal State, whatever, Northridge. I've never heard of them, actually. 137.5. And so all in all, there's a little bit of blowout risk, but all in all, I think we're kind of fine with the over 13 points. Like, should be able to get there. Again, that's just an EV bet that we're getting. We can see the average sportsbook line right now would have it set at 12.5 points, but they would heavily be favoring the over. From there, we're not getting that many props. I think we'll probably get more throughout the day, college basketball wise, guys, because, well, we don't have that many NBA games. So real quickly, let's take a peek at football. College football, we are getting some like pretty big discrepancies, I would say, but not really any profits that I really see as an edge. Yeah, probably not too worthwhile. Like, they're fine. These are all fine, but all in all, to me, I don't really need to make those prop bets. Let's take a peek at NFL. NFL, we got Matthew Stafford for over 1.5 passing touchdowns as a good one. Bailey Groupie for under 6.5 kicking points. That seems to be a good one. Demario Davis over tackles and assists, 54% likely to hit. So we got some pretty good ones to start out with NFL. So that's very nice. We'll take a peek at the discrepancies. I know we're not getting that many esports, so probably not getting that much. Wow. Whoa. Here's a big difference. Fouls drawn. I didn't even know that was a thing. And so, guys, right away, that is a awesome middling opportunity right there for that specific prop bet. I mean, that's crazy. Like, for that low of a line to be a 1 kind of line difference there, that's crazy. We don't typically see that. So I want to go into the underdog cheat sheet, go into the EV only, and just see what other prop bets I could kind of middle with. We already have a good sense of what we could do prize picks wise for middling purposes, but let's take a peek at the underdog cheat sheet. Seth Jarvis for under shots on goal. I'm fine with that. Jason Zucker for under shots on goal, hockey. Yeah, let's toss those out. We got Walter Clayton Jr. for over points, college basketball. We can see that was already bumped on prize picks. Matthew Stafford touchdowns. All right, let's actually just do a little 5-slip bet here. Okay, they took Seth Jarvis off and Zucker. So, okay, we can't do that. So let's just do a little 2-slip bet just for today's game. So this is what I like. We're getting good EV here on this college basketball prop. We can pair it up with this one. Let's go and do that. Awesome little bet there for underdog. Another one that just popped up for this one as well is Tomas for under shots on goal, 2.5. Fine with that one. And then just real quickly, guys, when we started by EV only on prize picks for the prize picks cheat sheet there, let's just call it some NHL props that we have. Timo, I'm fine with over shots on goal. These other ones I'm fine with as well for their unders. These ones, guys, they just are heavily favorited as pushes. That's kind of the issue. But all in all, that should be fine. Connor Bedard as well. That's going to be one. Yeah, that's the kind of the problem with NHL props lately, is that they are just basically all being valued as pushes. But it is a source of great EV. Those are typically the best EV bets that we get throughout the day. So again, could be a spot for us on this slate. All right, guys, so I do want to give you guys a bet of the day slip. Again, with Taco Tuesday, we are typically just trying to chase the best lines that we have available. I'm going to show you guys a bunch of different ones. You guys can choose to do so or use them how you choose to do so. Right now, I see these as kind of the best bets. Really, I feel pretty good about like these going 3 for 4 or so. I feel very good about the middling opportunity that we have available for this one, guys. Again, typically we do not see that. So you could do less than here and then do the over 0.5 on underdog. And then here are some more that we are getting currently for just in general. These are kind of secondary options. J-Val was really one of the best, if not the only good EV bet that we're getting for NBA. Then I will say, I do think Chris Middleton over points, rebounds, and assists is a good one, as is Brook Lopez tonight. I feel like they're going to have good games. But guys, that's going to be all for today's video. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the 95sports.com PrizePicks and Underdog cheat sheets, those are available for just $10 a month. Head on over to 95sports.com to get access to that. Thank you guys for watching. Let's have a good slate. Good luck on this Taco Tuesday. And as always, let's keep cashing.